Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A quick reminder of our top stories now. DSS breaks silence on its invasion of the Federal High Court premises in Abuja, says scuffle in court was stage managed by Showore's supporters, as the National Human Rights Commission calls for the arrests and prosecution of the officers involved. Calls for restructuring and power rotation re-echoes as groups in the southeast and southern Kaduna insist it is the only way to achieve national unity. PDP women leader burnt to death in Kogi State by suspected political thugs during the governorship elections in the state buried. And US and Iran in rare diplomatic cooperation as both countries conduct prisoner swap. For more information on our top stories and others, please visit our website. It's channelstv.com. youtube.com/channelsweb has videos of our shows. Farmers in Nigeria may be smiling to the banks with the federal government's closure of land borders and as the festive season draws closer. Even so, there are plans by poultry farmers to produce massively. In this special report, our correspondent Loretta Chiogo takes a look at the rush to produce and the manipulations.
The closure of land borders across the country remains controversial, but the government is confident the move will shield the country from fake and substandard products, giving local producers the space to breathe. Poultry products are captured in this ban, but some traders do not find it reasonable.
The closure of the border really affects the prices of the goods nowadays. Because we thought when the border was closed, everything will be at cheaper rates now, but it's not as so.
One man's meat is, however, another man's poison. And for this group of farmers, the closure of land borders is a meal they'll love to consume.
The ban came at the right time, some months before the festive period, so we have closed most of the gaps. Poultry farmers are not going back. Those that have closed their farms before, they are not going back to the farm. Those that are doing low-key their business before, they are not scaling up. And things are going on well for farmers.
Poultry and poultry products are important, but not a cheap source of animal protein in Nigeria. According to Poultry Association of Nigeria, the recent recorded growth in the poultry industry has increased, many on a small and medium scale, and over 14 million people benefiting from employment in the increasingly commercialized sector. The per capita consumption of livestock products has been projected to increase to over 200% from year 2020 to 2050 as fast food and cheaper protein source for the future food security. But there are fears of manipulations.
The volume of animal feed produced in this country, larger percentage is that of poultry feed. Now, by the time people use antibiotics in this feed, the problem is that it goes into the produce, like the egg, and it resides in the eggs or the meat of the birds. Now, when this residue is above a certain limit, it is going to be more of like a poison. To let me use layman language, like a poison to the consumer.
With the festive period just some days away, Nigerians will be looking to local poultry products, easy and cheaper to access and healthy for consumption. Loretta Chiogo, Channels Television News.
Joining us live from our Borno studios is the President, Poultry Association of Nigeria, Mr. Ezekiel Ibrahim. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the news at 10 at this time. It's about 2 months, really, since the federal government closed the nation's land borders. But I must ask you this to begin with. What's your view of the impact on the poultry products market? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, I was just asking you about the impact of the closure of Nigeria's landed borders, side by side vis-a-vis the poultry markets that we have today in the country?
Hello? Ina jin ka kai. Eh? Ba na ji kadan akwai background sound.
Okay, we'll get back to Mr. Ezekiel Ibrahim as soon as we're able to establish a clearer contact with him in our Borno studios far up north. Now, moving on to other stories now. 578 young entrepreneurs have graduated from the Faith Foundation, a non-profit organization aimed at providing support to budding entrepreneurs. At the Faith Foundation annual celebration and award ceremony, the organization also recognized individuals who have created viable businesses and impacted the society through job creation.
It's the Faith Foundation's annual celebration, a platform to celebrate graduates, partners and volunteers who have worked with the organization in supporting entrepreneurs to start, grow and scale up their businesses.
And experienced entrepreneurs who are owner-managers of businesses and are looking to scale their businesses.
578 entrepreneurs have now joined the list of graduates from Faith Foundation's aspiring and emerging entrepreneurship programs. The keynote speaker, Funke Okpeke, has a word for them.
When I look around me and I look at all the faces I see in the room, what I still see is a tremendous opportunity for each and every one of us to add value. Our society has so many challenges. Indeed, for a lot of you young people who have chosen this entrepreneurial journey, you are choosing this journey because you are not able to find fulfilling or satisfactory employment.
Awards are also given to some outstanding individuals for their contribution to the growth of several businesses.
I'm just so happy that I decided to do a program that basically showcases entrepreneurs in Nigeria and how much effort they're putting into providing a service or making a product to make sure, first of all, that they earn a living and then that they're making the economy better for Nigeria. And it's also good to know that I'm being recognized for that, and I thank God.
I feel excited because Faith Foundation caters for entrepreneurs, which is my natural constituency. So I feel elated, I feel happy, I feel honored.
The executive director, Adenike Adeyemi, appraises the quality of graduates churned out annually.
We want to build entrepreneurs that because they exist, multiple jobs are created, but also other businesses can also exist because of them. And we also believe in building and raising ethically inspiring entrepreneurs who also have the attributes that you want in any leader in the society. So they're models of how you can build a business even despite our environment and be successful while also being at it.
Building on their 19 years experience in entrepreneurship and enterprise development, the foundation hopes to continue to provide support to budding entrepreneurs, turning their passion into sustainable businesses.
The Nigerian Air Force, in collaboration with the British Military Advisory Training Team, BMAT, has trained a fresh set of special forces on counter-terrorism and counterinsurgency operations for the ongoing fight against Boko Haram terrorists in the northeast. Speaking during a visit to the troops at their training camp just before their graduation at the regiment's training center, Air Force Base in Kaduna State, the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Sadiq Abubakar, noted that the new trends of attacks on military bases by terrorists in the northeast necessitated continuous training.
In recent past, attacks by suspected Boko Haram terrorists and bandits, especially in the northeast and northwest zones, have resulted in the loss of lives and assets, with thousands displaced. The Nigerian Air Force and military bases have not been spared from these attacks, largely due to lack of adequate base defense and capability. The need to ensure better responsiveness informed this training of troops in Kaduna State, organized by the force in partnership with the British Military Advisory and Training Team on Force Protection in complex air-ground environment. A total of 717 troops of regiment and air police specialties have successfully completed the training and are set for graduation and deployment. The Chief of Air Staff, accompanied by senior officers, is at the training camp to witness the level of their performance.
What we are doing here is something that will add a lot of value to what we are doing outside in terms of protecting our bases and then also supporting the ground troops to be able to handle some of the challenges. It was a scenario where some people were trying to enter the Air Force base to create problems, and it is this base defense force that were now mobilized and they were able to deal with the situation. That's exactly what this training is all about. Not only in Kaduna, but particularly in the northeast where we're fighting Boko Haram. We should have the ability to mobilize our guys to face any challenge to our bases.
From the field, they move to the hall for the graduation ceremony. The need to be practical and implement lessons learned is crucial.
Although relatively short in duration, this package has been high tempo, requiring a combination of robustness and mental agility. Most importantly, you have approached the training with good humour, a willingness to learn, and maintained a positive outlook in the face of adversity.
The Chief of Air Staff reiterates the force's commitment to tackling insecurity.
Currently, the Nigerian Air Force Regiment personnel are deployed in 10 ongoing operations across the length and breadth of this country in the fight against insurgency, banditry, and other forms of criminality.
It's the first time the Nigerian Air Force will conduct a joint training of air police and intelligence personnel aimed at securing Nigerian Air Force bases, which has become necessary in order to tackle security challenges across the country.
When the News at 10 returns, finance ministers and central bank governors from the ECOWAS region commit to meet criteria to fast-track the realization of a single currency. That's some business news. Join us again.